Namaste Gurukulians, how's you all? I'm pretty sure that you must be happy with your family and enjoying your life in a purposeful manner. So today I'm Mamta Singh in front of you, your science teacher, PGP Science, is here to teach you the topic Wind and Storm. This is your lesson 14, Wind and Storm. You are quite familiar with this term, wind. In your previous classes also, you must have read about it. But today, we'll explain it briefly and we'll proceed to the next topic. Wind, as we've already studied, wind is the moving air. You've read about this in your 5th and 6th classes, that moving air is called the wind. Now there must be one question in your mind, that what causes the air to move? That means, what are the causes of movement of this air? So today our subtopics will be the causes of moving this air. That means we'll talk about the causes and we will also talk about the different characteristics of wind. So these are the two subtopics which we have to cover today. Firstly, let's start from the causes of wind. The main cause of wind is difference in air pressure. You are quite familiar with this word, air pressure. Air pressure means the pressure exerted by air. So it's all the time that air pressure acts upon us. This time I'm standing here, you are sitting at your homes, but everywhere there is air pressure. That means you all are just living below a sea of air. But we must be saying, ma'am, have you got crazy? We are not going to feel any kind of air pressure upon us. Students, this must be clear that you must have never noticed it. You must have never noticed the air pressure upon yourself, because the air pressure that is acting upon you is getting counterbalanced by the weight of your body. Means by the pressure inside your body is balancing the pressure outside your body. But otherwise there is air pressure and it's having strength as well. Let me prove you this strength of air pressure by performing a very simple activity. I hope you'll enjoy this activity. So, just proving this air pressure, I'm having a glass. This empty glass is here with me, and I'm having some water there with me. This water is actually colored because I have mixed some blue dye in this. Obviously, the colorful things seems interesting to the students. That's why I have used this colored water. Otherwise, you can use your simple water as well. Now, what will I do? I'll fill this glass of water with this colored water, right? So I'm just filling it. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use this lid. You can use anything at your home. You can use any cardboard, any plain sheet, or any lid or cover. So what I'm going to do is, I'll cover this glass of water with this lid and I will invert it upside down. Again, what will happen? What do you think? You must be thinking, ma'am, what will happen if you lose your hand? This lid will fall down and the water will come outside. But students, let's see what's going to happen. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm just taking this glass of water filled with colored water, and I'm just inverting it upside down. Just holding it for a few minutes. And then, slowly, I'm just going to leave it. So students, have you noticed that this lid hasn't fallen down? Do you know the reason? Because when this jar was upside down, there was liquid pressure inside, no doubt, which was acting upon and which was pushing this lid to fall down. But there was some air pressure outside as well, which was pushing it upward, and that air pressure was more than this liquid pressure. That's why the lid was fixed over here and hasn't fallen down. You also can perform the same activity with simple water at your homes, and if not successful in once or twice, don't be afraid that yes, I'm not going to perform this activity. Try it a number of times, definitely you'll be successful, and obviously you'll enjoy this activity and will show to your parents as well that yes, this is the air pressure which we cannot feel, but really it exists. So okay students, I have shown you the strength of air pressure. Now the question is, the cause of wind is difference in air pressure. Now this difference, you must be saying, ma'am, air is almost the same everywhere, so the air pressure must be same everywhere. Why this difference is created? How this difference is created? I'll give you two reasons why this difference is created. The first reason is uneven heating between the equator and poles, and the next is uneven heating of land and water. Now let me explain you one by one. The first reason is uneven heating between the equator and poles. Students, you all know that the earth is spherical in shape. If it is spherical in shape, you must have noticed that when it is rotating, when it is revolving around the sun, this equator gets more heat as compared to the poles. So this is the equator and these are the polar regions. So what happens? The equator receives more heat, more sunlight, so the air near the equator will be more warm as compared to the polar regions. So what will happen? The warm air near the equator, that will warm up. If the air is warm, it will rise up, because we all know that the warm air is lighter and the light things always rise up. But the air near the polar region, that is cooler as compared to this air. So that will settle down, because the cool air is heavier and the heavier things always settles down. So this air, when this will rise up, this air will be cool. That means where the air is cool, there will be always high pressure. Why high pressure? Cool air means the particles are just close to each other. The air molecules are close to each other. If the air molecules are closer, the pressure will be higher. Here the warm air molecules are far away, so the pressure is lower because the warm air rises up. So then what will happen? Here the pressure will be lower. Here the high pressure, here the pressure is low, and the air always flows from high pressure to low pressure. That means air will move in this manner from polar regions to equator. So this is uneven heating is there. Uneven heating will cause difference in air pressure, and this difference in air pressure will cause the air to move. Air will move from polar regions towards equator, right? So this is how uneven heating between the equator and poles will cause this difference and will cause the air to move, which is called the wind. Now let us move to the next point, to the next reason, that is uneven heating of land and water. Now how this difference of land and water heating is there? Now let us suppose I'll talk about the two diagrams, that is the land breeze and sea breeze. What happens during the daytime? What happens during the night time? What causes the winds to blow? Now see, for example, example, this is our land area, this is our sea area. Land area is covered with plants and sea area is covered with water. This is daytime because sun is there. And the next example is again land and sea, but instead of sun, here we are having moon. Suppose it's full moon on that day. So what will happen during the daytime and during night time? This is what we are going to discuss now. During the daytime, the land will be getting more heated, more faster as compared to the sea. Why? Because this is the property of land. Land gets heated faster and land loses its heat faster. That means land gets heat up faster and land gets cooled down faster as compared to the water. It takes time. So what will happen during the day when the sun is there? Air above the land will get heated faster as compared to the air above the sea. So if this air warms up faster, it will rise up. Suppose this air rises up. So here the space will be created. The pressure will be high or low. Obviously the low pressure will be there because the warm air rises up. Here in the sea, the water molecules are there which hasn't got that much heat. Low pressure has been created. Now this low pressure and here it will be high pressure because during the day this air will be cooler as compared to the air above the land. So this air having high pressure will start flowing from high to low. That means the air will come from which side? From sea side. That's why we also call it as sea breeze during the day. Now what happens in night time? The reverse happens in case of night. Now let us see how it happens. During the night, this land will get cooled down faster, but the water is still warm up. That means the air above the sea will be more warm as compared to the air above the land. So here the pressure will be low. Here the pressure will be high because this land cooled down faster. So from high to low, the wind will start flowing, and this wind, as it is coming from the land side, in the night time we call it land breeze. So this is what happens in case of sea breeze and land breeze. Due to uneven heating of land and water, how the air moves, the cause of wind we have explained. Now the next is just attached with this, there is one more word, monsoon wind. Monsoon wind, this word monsoon has been derived from the Arabic word mosam, and mosam means season. So these are actually seasonal winds. What happens? For example, in summer, the air above the land gets heat up faster as compared to the air above the sea. So what will happen? Above the land, the low pressure will be created. Above the sea, high pressure is there. So air will start flowing from sea to land. That is the reason in summers we must have noticed heavy rain is there, and the heavy rain, the cause is because the air is coming from seaside and it is containing a lot of moisture along with it, right? So in summers, and the reverse happens in case of winters. That means these monsoon winds are also because of the uneven heating of land and water. So this is all about this topic. The subtopics which we have to cover today were two. One is causes and the next is characteristics. We have explained you about the causes, difference in air pressure, and that difference further related to the uneven heating. Now Now the next subtopic which we have to cover up is characteristics of wind, which we are going to discuss about the characteristics. Actually, there are two characteristics of wind. One is direction and the other is speed. So let's discuss about the two characteristics, direction and speed. Direction. To measure the direction of wind, we use an instrument called wind vane, or we also call it weathercock. To measure speed, we use anemometer. Now, how the wind vane is used? You are having one vertical pole, one vertical road is there, and with that vertical road, there are four directions marked over. For example, north, south, east, west. Four directions are marked over this vertical road, and on the top of this vertical road, one arrow is there. So this pointer actually tells us about the direction in which wind is flowing. The next is to measure the speed. To measure the speed of wind, we use the anemometer. How this anemometer is constructed? You are having, suppose, a vertical pole in it, and with that vertical pole, three arms are attached. Three horizontal arms are attached, and these three horizontal arms, three cups are attached further with these arms. These cups are actually rotating when the wind is blowing. These three cups which are attached to the arms, when these cups starts moving, they automatically moves these horizontal arms attached with the cups, and when these moves, these results in the moving of the road, this vertical road, and further the speed of movement of this vertical road is calculated. So this is known as anemometer, how we use it, right? So next is, we have discussed about the subtopics. The topic which we are going to cover up tomorrow is storm. Let me give you a brief introduction about the topic which we will discuss tomorrow is storm. Storms are actually nothing but these are high speed winds. Storms are high speed winds. Now, if these are high speed winds, how high we call it? I mean, the types of storms are further on the basis of their intensity. It can be severe or it can be moderate. Severe or moderate. If it is severe, it leads to some destruction. But if it is moderate, then it can be, we can just handle it. But the severe storm cannot be handled. It always leads to the destruction, leads to the destruction of property, leads to the destruction of agricultural land, and leads to destruction of every other building or the telephone communication system, whatever communication system is there. It leads to destruction of each and everything if it is much severe. Now, what we call them, tomorrow we will discuss about the types of storms, what we call them in India, what we call them in other nations, what are the various types, how they are caused, what is the reason when they occur, and what safety measures we must take. All these topics we will discuss tomorrow. So for the time, you just need to write all this material in your notebook so that you can revise it properly and keep reading the same topic in your books, and for queries, contact the numbers which you are getting to remove your queries further from your teachers. So this topic we are going to discuss tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day.